Hello and welcome to Fin Business. We are in conversation with Mastercard. Mastercard is one of the largest network in the world in terms of payment industry. And we are going to talk with Vikas Saraogi. Vikas, welcome to Fin Business. Vikas, you are handling one of the important vertical at Mastercard. So I would like to understand how has been the payment industry evolved in last couple of years. Could you please tell us the trend that what is exactly happening in India right now, and if you could compare with the global?
We are in some very interesting times. Okay. In fact, let me say that we are in the middle of a huge wave, and the wave I am talking about is the third wave of internet, which is also popularly known as Internet of Things. So, what exactly is this wave? What happened in 1980s was we had the first wave of internet, when internet connected lots of desktop computers. Then came the second wave of internet, which came in 1990s, where the internet connected mobile devices, laptops and tablets. Now we are in the middle of the third wave of internet, where internet is connecting a lot of other devices, right? And what is very interesting to note is that in each of these waves, the number of connected devices increased by a multiple of 10. So in 1980s you had millions of personal computers. In 90s you had billions of phones, smartphones and tablets, and now you have tens and billions of connected devices. So we are in this connected world, which is also called Internet of Things, or the third wave of internet, where devices are becoming smarter and smarter. Right. A lot of these devices will now be used for payments. Right. So you could use a watch, an Apple Watch, to make payments, and you could have your television set to make payments, or your refrigerator to make payments. So that's very clearly a trend we are seeing, that more connected devices will be used for payments. Right. Now, what does it mean for us? With connected devices, what is happening is the data is growing manifold.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, what I mean is that as consumers use and more devices, they are leaving digital footprints on the way. Right. So it is a huge opportunity for the industry to use that data in a much more meaningful manner. Right. And let me give you a sense of the kind of data we are talking about here. In the last couple of years, we have generated 90% of the data that we ever had in the world. Every day we are generating almost 2.5 trillion bytes of data. Right. So the data can be used for data mining, creating insights and making the lives of consumers easier. But it comes with its own set of challenges as well. Right. Security. So when you have connected devices, so much of data floating around, it's very important that the payment systems become very secure.
Right.
And that is where we come into the picture. We have introduced tokenization. What in simplistic terms it means is, when you do a transaction using tokens are nothing but an alias for your original card number.
Okay.
Right, payment details. So therefore, in any of these devices were to be hacked, or there was some kind of compromise in the system, your original card credentials always remain secure.
So when did you start this tokenization, and is it available in India, globally? How's the train, how's the response you're getting to this?
So we had introduced tokenization first with Apple Pay, right, which was a couple of years back when we launched Apple Pay, which is a tap and go solution. Now we have partnered with Samsung and launched Samsung Pay in India, which again works on our tokenization standards. But the idea is to get more and more tokenization products into the market, and to make the entire system more secure. So that is happening at a very rapid pace. Right? So that is one trend. Now coming to India, very clearly India is a mobile first market.
Okay.
If there is any market India will draw parallels with, it is going to be China. Right? It's not going to follow the Western model of digital payments, I feel. Though India is very different, but still if there are going to be a few parallels, it's going to be from China. And what we are seeing in India is that in the last 4 to 5 years, people have started using mobiles for doing more and more payment transactions. So it started with online. More than 50% of transactions started generating on mobile. The first time a consumer in India used an internet was on his mobile device, and he started doing transactions over there. Now we are seeing mobiles being used to do offline transactions, where a mobile can be used to go to a merchant, tap the phone and do a transaction.
Yes.
Or more recently, we have launched Bharat QR solution, where the merchant will have a QR solution at his storefront. A consumer goes there and he scans the QR through his phone, and the transaction goes through. So that's a secular trend we are seeing. There will be more and more of mobiles being used to do transactions in both in the online and offline space.
Can we say that till now, I mean, you are one of the largest network in the world in the cards business. Obviously, the payment industry needed cards till now, but the trend has been increased and the technology has evolved so much that perhaps card is not the need, but different modes of payments is the need, different modes of technology is the need. So apart from tokenization, apart from the Bharat QR code that you're talking about, what are the initiatives that Mastercard is planning to take to cater the global market right now? Because everybody is emerging like there is no tomorrow. Proliferation of technology has emerged so much that you need a change every day. So what is that wow factor? What is that new factor you are trying to adopt right now?
We do not believe in multiple products out there, right? Because then that creates confusion in the market and nothing gets adopted. The reason why a normal card or a POS terminal was adopted so well across the globe was it was a simple product, simple to use, and worked seamlessly across the globe, and it was secure. When you have too many products, it kind of creates confusion. So we have always worked in a very focused manner. We brought contactless technology, which has been a huge success in places like Europe and Australia, which has reduced the number of ATM transactions. And even from small ticket size transactions as well, people are using their card. For example, going to parking, tapping their card and doing a transaction, or even going to transit, they're using their contactless card. So that is one technology we are kind of betting on. I mean, I think it's going to proliferate. It's going to proliferate in transit. It's going to proliferate in large retail stores where you have queues, because contactless is essentially a queue busting solution.
Could you elaborate more on contactless cards? Because there are some companies in India also trying to get into this business, contactless cards, but the problem is that, there are the regulations are really stringent, it takes really time because the card is expensive. So what do you believe? Is the future contactless cards?
Contactless is going to be an important part of the digital chain, of the digital ecosystem in India. And let me say that the government and the regulator has been very supportive. For example, a couple of years back, the regulator came out with this mandate that any transaction below 2,000 rupees on a contactless card does not require an additional PIN.
Right.
Which means the transactions could be much faster for the consumer, it is much simpler for the consumer. And therefore, it opens up a lot of use cases like transit, use cases like toll, use cases like parking, right? So that is what the government and the regulator has been very, very supportive of that. Now, the idea is to have an open loop acceptance and issuance system on contactless cards. What we are seeing is proliferation of proprietary contactless solutions, which does not help anybody, right? We have always believed an interoperable solution across the globe, and that is why it works so seamlessly. And I think the way it is going, I think the industry is working together on this, and I think the next couple of years we are going to see proliferation of both contactless cards on one side and a lot of merchants accepting contactless payments.
Have you observed the trend that where people have reduced the number of card transactions and they are more into the typical digital transactions which might be happening on POS terminal, biometric or this wallet payments? So going ahead, do you believe that the card transactions will go down? Do you believe that there will be alternative to cards and perhaps people will not need cards?
Mastercard is not only about cards, right? Cards is just a form factor. Essentially, we connect consumers and merchants in ways more than one to do transactions. That it need not be a card, it could be a mobile device. It could be a token, right, which is sitting in your smartwatch, right? So card is just a form factor. Product is going to keep getting reinvented from time to time. A card is just an identifier for a card holder, which is a 16-digit PAN. The form factors can keep getting changed, doesn't matter as long as digital payments grow, and that is the objective of ours. That is our vision, actually, to create a world beyond cash. Doesn't matter if the card is going to remain or not. If you ask me personally, I think at least for the next 5 to 10 years, we are still going to see cards along with other form factors.
When you speak about payment industry, when you speak about Mastercard, when you speak about card transactions, what is the crucial is, like you mentioned some time back, is the security. What is important is the data, because the privacy that you need to maintain, because the data that you generate is really huge. What kind of measures that Mastercard has taken to protect the data that you have? What kind of security measures you are working on, and what kind of security measures actually needed for the industry?
Firstly, we are pushing tokenization in a big manner. Okay, what we want is a world where we don't want actual credentials of the consumers flowing around in the digital world. That can have huge repercussions and can really protect the consumer in a big manner. We are doing that because we are increasingly in a more connected world. more we work with tokenization standards, which we have standardized across the globe, more secure the system is going to be. That is more from the system perspective. From the customer security perspective and the card security perspective, we introduced EMV technology a few years back. EMV is essentially a chip which resides in the card, and for every card transaction, a dynamic cryptogram gets generated.
Yeah.
This is one of the safest ways of transacting. And in India, more and more cards are now getting EMV compliant. In fact, as per the regulator's mandate, by 2018, most cards in India are going to move to EMV. On the acceptance side, we have already moved all the terminals to EMV. Therefore, that's a huge security push from our side. It's going to help the overall ecosystem. So that's one on the card and the acceptance devices side. From Mastercard side, we have introduced a few products in the market. One is EMS, which is expert monitoring system, when we work with the issuers and acquirers and help them in monitoring their transactions, right? And they can then block the transactions which are kind of risky. They get data, they get those insights from us all the time, and that can really help them secure their systems and prevent fraudulent transactions. Also, at a systemic level, we also have a product called Safety Net, which essentially tracks all the systems in the world on an online real-time basis. And if we see some malware attacks anywhere in the world, we can intimate the bank or the issuer over here and prevent some of those attacks. And we have done that very successful in Middle East recently.
It was Vikas who gave us a lot of information about the card industry and the payment industry in India and globally. Thanks for watching.